Questions are being asked whether the powers to sack a principal secretary falls within the purview of the President of Kenya. And lawyers are divided on this issue because Article 234, subsection 2b states very clearly that that is the function of the Public Service Commission, and it states that they will be appointing persons to such offices, and in B in particular, it says that the Public Service Commission would exercise disciplinary control over and remove persons holding or acting in those offices if they are found guilty. And as all the Kenyan lawyers will tell you, the law is very clear. Those who support the president will tell you that he's got the powers to suspend and sack any principal secretary because he has a hand in deploying them into offices. The others who don't support this will tell you that the law is clear because that is the function and the prerogative of the Public Service Commission. This is coming at a time when William Ruto disbanded the entire board of KEMSA and suspended the principal secretary in the Ministry of Health, Madam Josephine Mburu. But as if that is not enough, we continue to hear shocking news of corruption cases within the country, things that are unimaginable. Today we are told that as a result of laxity and corruption, Kenyans could be consuming contraband sugar that had been earmarked for destruction has vanished and could be in our supermarkets and being retailed for Kenyans. I think the most difficult thing to be is to be a Kenyan. But I want to submit to you that corruption thrives in the Kenya Kwanza administration, and if you trace it very carefully, it has its roots, and the epicenter of all this corruption is in State House. And I will tell you why the president is either subconsciously or intentionally encouraging corruption in his government. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. And to those who support our videos, I want to say thank you very much. Kindly continue supporting us in any way you can. When William Samoei Ruto was campaigning, he was asked to talk about corruption. In fact, there was a joke that the administration then, or the entire Kenya Kwanza team, never talked about corruption. It wasn't one of their pillars of campaign. The only thing that they said was that corruption was being politicized to target their members. And with such statements, their members campaigned knowing very well that when they get to power, nothing will stop them. Because as the head of state and the head of government, once you have declared that your people are being targeted, then you give them a leeway to perpetuate corruption and you cannot talk about it. And this is the reason why when they formed their government, it is not surprising that their people continue to perpetuate corruption. Had he spoken about this and declared with assertion that he will deal with the people who are engaged in corrupt cases, maybe we would have seen a different regime. And remember, when the Azimio fraternity campaigned, one of their strongest pillars in the campaigns was to ensure that they declare corruption a national disaster, and they have declared that they will ensure that there is zero tolerance to corruption. This administration never talked about it. And when they took over power, the first thing that happened was that all the charges and the cases against the people who support Kenya Kwanza were all dropped under the guise of there was a lack of proper investigation or they were politically motivated. And I remember the cases, the corruption cases and the land cases against people like the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, people like Aisha Jumwa, people like Humphrey Kariuki, who were charged of evading taxes. All of the cases were dropped. And you see, when you do this, you are encouraging, you are giving your people the courage and audacity to engage in corruption, because when they are asked, they will say that it was as a result of supporting President Ruto. In fact, today, ask anybody, begin with the Deputy President, and he will tell you that all the cases were dropped or because they were unfounded. They were based on his allegiance to President William Samoei Ruto. And so with this, ladies and gentlemen, this administration is shooting itself on the foot. And I can assure you that we will hear more and more about corruption cases within this government. The other thing that this administration is doing that will only help but to perpetuate corruption is the declaration that Kenya Kwanza is a company and that those who they give jobs are those who supported them. And you see, when you appoint people into office as a result of rewarding their loyalty and not looking at merit, then you're breeding corruption, because those who get into those offices understand that they are not there to help you achieve your agenda. They are not there to help you achieve your vision. They will be there to satisfy their own aggrandizement. And this is the reason that why you will, in fact, this is the reason why I will not be surprised when I hear more of corrupt cases within the Kenya Kwanza government, because it goes a long way. The appointments are done based on ethnicity. The tribes that supported Kenya Kwanza when they were campaigning are getting the lion's share in state appointments. And the risk in this is that you'll find that in an office they will abandon using the official language, because when you look around the entire building, 3/4 are coming from the same tribe or just 2 tribes, and they will turn that office into a vernacular village. And when they do that, they start perpetuating corruption without blinking, because they understand that they have been given a job because they belong to the tribesmen of the president or the deputy president or both. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that all these theatrics about disbanding the KEMSA is not going to help if there is no political goodwill to fight corruption. I remember in 2002, when the late President Mwai Kibaki ascended to power, Kenyans took it upon themselves to flog march policemen who were found taking money in the streets, corruption. And they did it with passion, because the Kibaki regime came into power with one thing, that they were not going to support corruption. Then gradually they realized that there were headlines of Anglo-leasing cases here and there, and they started getting demoralized, because a government that they thought was going to fight corruption was behind the curtains perpetuating corruption. And so whether the administration will suspend the entire board and suspend the PS, if there is no political goodwill, it is as good as nothing. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, this could be theatrics to show Kenyans that something is going on, that the government is working. Because when this news grabbed headlines that an entire board has been suspended, that people have been suspended as a result of the contraband sugar, then people think that something is happening. But my fear is it could just be another talk like the one of some people wanted to kill Chebukati. You know, when the administration told us that they knew those who wanted to kill Chebukati, but they have not even arrested anyone. And so this could be mere talks to hoodwink Kenyans that this government is committed to fighting corruption. Then once they have suspended, that is how it ends. We need to see people being taken to court, the right people. And we don't need to see sacrificial lambs, because I understand that the health PS could be sacrificed to save some faces that are close and are friendly to the government. So we need what we call unselective justice. We don't need selective justice where some people are being cleansed and others are crucified to save the face of an entire corrupt, board of a corrupt ministry. Let us have the right people being charged, because if we don't see people in courts, then this will be as good as nothing. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this administration, if you ask me, with all due respect, has failed, and they have shot themselves in the foot. If there is not going to be any U-turn, then Kenyans will continue to be hoodwinked. I don't know what to think, but this is my take.